Mr. Tryon will start with his response to this question coming from Karen Elliott of the Calaveras Humane Society. The responses will be limited to 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Good evening. The Calaveras Humane Society has long sought to build a quality shelter and adoption center to replace the current substandard facility. What is your plan to expedite this process?
Well, the county is not going to be able to come up with the million or two or three out of the county general fund to build an animal shelter. So the county is going to have to look, along with the Humane Society, to grants or individual contributions from foundations, et cetera. The Humane Society has presented a program to the Board of Supervisors where they have stated that they would singularly go out and raise the money to build a new shelter. The board is very supportive of their efforts to do so. I don't think their efforts have been as successful as they had hoped, but we still do have an animal control department. It still functions. It functions substantially with volunteers that come and walk dogs and
30 seconds
and help out. But the board itself is not going to be able to come up and build a brand new animal shelter with the capital required.
Let's get her done. You know, what I find is that I think we've had inadequate shelter for 50 years, as long as the Friends of the Library have been in existence and as old as I am. So I would certainly be wanting to work with the Humane Society. I think there can be some public-private partnerships that can be pursued, currently supporting the fundraising efforts. And I know that the Humane Society is taking a look at all options at various levels, from grants and foundations and public-private partnerships. But, you know, as a supervisor for District 4, if elected, I would certainly make this a priority, because I, frankly, am sick and tired of hearing about it. And if you go up there and take a look, it is in shambles. And granted, it is operating, but on a very minute level of operations in a complete disarray.
You know, I think the Humane Society and the people that have been operating the animal shelter have been doing a bang-up job for what they have. Officer Lori, you guys know her last name, right? I don't. But Lori, I know her as Lori because Morgan. Oh yeah, she is a lifesaver up there, and probably responsible in the past couple of years for it being as successful as it has been. She works hard. She was very passionate about it, and you know, Sheriff Coons put her in place there because I think he knew that she was going to do a great job. I think there's an opportunity for the Humane Society. I know they're out there working, fundraising, and looking for grants and everything that they can do to build a new shelter. But the county offered up some money to fund part for positions over there. I think there were 4 positions, and I think it was for about $174,000. And I think if you want to move in that direction, I think the Humane Society should organize and as a 501c3 and contract that labor possibility instead of keeping it where it is now, and transition into the position of managing the animal shelter as it is.
I'll say this on the subject. I've been very supportive of the Humane Society, and as a lot of people here know, can you hear me? No. I'm sorry. Okay. I've been very supportive of the Humane Society since I've been on this board, but as many people know, or maybe a lot of people don't know, that just recently the county transferred from the sheriff's office to Brian Moss over in environmental health, the running of the animal shelter. And when that happened, I had a couple meetings with Brian and trying to get his ideas and what he wants to do with that department and the animal shelter itself, and he came up with a couple good ideas. He says there's about 5 acres surrounding that this complex that's up there now, and he would like to do some work on that 5 acres to expand the facilities where they're at and not move them. He thinks it's doable, and he thinks there's another additional 5 acres after that towards the CDF over here that's occupying that facility now, maybe not those facilities, but the grounds surrounding it, to expand upon it. And I think that's a very viable idea. I think it'll be cost effective. I think you can approach it at when you have the funds available to start expanding on the facility itself there, get the grounds cleared, get somewhat leveled. You'll be able to house larger animals in that area, and I think it's a wonderful idea and it needs to be explored.
Well, yeah, you know, it should be recognized that the great work that we have here, a really good example of the public-private cooperation happening. The Humane Society is not part of the, what I was doing recently, I read that they are not part of the National Humane Society, and I think that is notable that they've been doing this on their own. And I think we need to, as supervisors, like Gary was just mentioning there, you know, look at different options on the table of how can we make the facility better the cheapest way possible. And I like the idea of expanding the existing facility. I didn't realize there was actually room up there, so that's an exciting opportunity there. And as an example, as supervisor, also help with the, you know, of the fundraising aspect of it and the networking aspect of it. I think as supervisor, you can go out into the larger community in Sacramento, San Francisco,
30 seconds.
and beyond, and really be able to get more funding and lend your name to help the Humane Society. And so that's what I'll continue to work on if elected.
Our local Humane Society, along with every other group and organization represented up here, are important to our county. They use a lot of volunteers, and they struggle with budget. I understand that. I'm with Mr. Tryon again here. Every group up here would love a couple $1 million. It's not in our budget right now. The way we can help turn that around is increase our tax base. And let's try to do that without increasing our taxes. We're not going to solve a problem by complaining about it and trying to find money where it doesn't exist. We need to go after the responsible way to improve our economy and help build our tax base. I'm in full support of every group up here, and I do anything I can to help them, but we have to be realistic and understand the situation that we're in.